Hello friends, today I am going to do a tutorial. I'm going to show you how I make my little mini wire-bound notebooks. And this is just a project that I decided to do to use up the scrap index cards that I have. And they're super fun. So yeah, it's honestly a great project. And what I do is I just keep a bunch of these covers decorated and ready to go so that when I have scrap index cards, I can just, or scrap wire and stuff, I can just like quickly throw them together. So it's a great little project to use up all your scraps. And it's also a great project for those 6x6 pads that have tiny little cut aparts. Like, for instance, this is what I'm going to be using today. This is from the Pink Paisley Moonstruck collection. So this is what I'm going to be using today, and we're just going to walk through the whole process. It is so simple, so easy. You don't even need chipboard, but you can use chipboard. What I'm going to be using as my base is actually just craft cardstock. I use 110 weight craft cardstock, and because you glue paper on the front and the back, between that and the glue, it ends up being really sturdy, I think. So super easy. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is just cut down the craft cardstock. That's going to be our base, and you can just cut it to 2x3, and you'll need 2 of them, obviously, for a So what I did for these ones actually is I had the base be 2 1/8 by 3 1/8, and so you have a little bit of, like, you know, extra overhang, because that's how I do my side bound notebooks. But I'm gonna try for this one to do it the same size as the index cards to have everything flush. So we'll see. If that's a fail, then I'll let you know, and then you do everything the same except for these would be 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. And then you're going to need 4 sheets of pattern paper that are the same size, just 2x3. And that's for the outside and inside covers. And I'm just going to do mine all the same paper. Okay, so I have those, and you can then pick what cut apart you're gonna do. I'm gonna do this pink butterfly one on the blue butterflies. I just think that's gonna be pretty. You don't have to do a cut apart. You could do a sticker. You could just leave them plain with pretty paper. It is totally up to you how you wanna do it. I think I will end up making some, you know, ones that are just plain with patterned paper, but for now we're going to do a cut apart. So as you can see, I have this giant stack of my offcuts. So when I make 3x3 mini notebooks, I use 3x5 index cards. So then I'm left with this offcut that measures 2x3. So this is what I use, and it feels like I'm getting a project for free because I'm just using a scrap that I otherwise wouldn't know what to do. So I do 30 sheets in mine. You could definitely do more, but you could definitely do more, but I like to keep it pretty thin so it doesn't get like too chunky. But yeah, I just choose to do 30 personally. So count those out. Okay, so I counted out 30, and I like to keep mine in like piles of 5 because the next step we're going to do is go through and round all the corners. So I only like to do 5 sheets at a time for rounding my corners, and that's just me. So I am using my crocodile. If you do not have a crocodile, you can use, where did it go? Just like one of these corner rounders. Just keep in mind, it's just, you can't do as much paper with those paper punches, but you can still get the same look, especially because we're not doing chipboard. This is technically just cardstock, but it is pretty thick. It's definitely feels thicker. So I'm using the 1/2 inch size on my crocodile, and I'm just gonna go through and round all of my corners for my index cards. Sometimes you really gotta put some work into it. Okay, yeah, so I'll go do all of that off camera, but then you're also going to round these corners. You could do this part before or after you glue on your pattern paper. I'm just doing it before. So, and then you'll do your cover paper, because this is just gonna go directly on there like that. Okay, if you have directional paper, obviously pay attention to that when you're rounding your corners, but these butterflies can go up or down and it doesn't really matter. So I'm getting that all done. And then for my cut apart, I'm gonna round my corners as well, but I'm gonna use the 1/4 inch side. And I don't know, I just feel like I want it to kind of match the shape of that, so that's why I just round the bottom corners and not the top. So I don't know, personal preference, I guess. Okay, now we are just going to glue our pattern paper onto our base. And as you can see, this project is coming together very simply and quickly. So I just like to make sure I really get the glue all the way up to the edges of the paper. Since it's not like we're wrapping it, it's just, you know. And then you just want to make sure you're lining that up so that all of that chipboard is covered. And then, I mean, it should be a perfect fit because we cut them to the same size. So I'll just go ahead and burnish that down. Get a good even spread of that glue. And then, yeah, you're just gonna do that for the inside as well and the back cover. And then put your little cut apart on if you're doing that, or embellish it however you want to. You could use like die cuts if you have little, you know, things you want to put on there. You could do stickers, or you could do nothing at all, and it'll be cute no matter what, because mini things are just adorable. That's my opinion. I love all things mini. I've accidentally did a little bit too much glue, so we'll get that off in a moment. We have our base covered with our paper. We have our paper cut. So then you just need to pick out your wire binding that you're going to use. For this project, I use the 5/8 size, which generally comes in a bunch of colors. And for this, you need 4. So if you were cutting it for the first time, the way you do it is you want 4 of these skinny things. So you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you cut right there. Okay, so that's how that goes. I just happen to have this perfect little scrap, and I like that pink color anyway, so that is what I'm going to use. So now we are going to take our cinch out, So this part is kind of hard to show, but the mini cinch is nice because it's really easy to line things up. So we know that this is 2 inches across. So you just line that up with the 2 and the 2, and then you know you're perfectly centered, and you see it'll tell you how many holes there will be. So 4 holes. So that's all we're gonna do is go through and punch everything. So how you wanna do this part is, okay, you take your book, assemble it how it's supposed to be assembled. Then you flip it upside down and you flip the back cover, which this doesn't matter because they're the same, but you flip the back cover like that. And then you go from the bottom to the top. And I just punch out like 5 sheets at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might be able to do more, but I don't like to have to use my muscles too much in this. So, and then you've got your little hunches. And you'll just go through and do that until you get to the front cover, and then I will come back. Okay, so now we're to my cover, and so you're going to do this, the actual cover, before you do the last piece. It really just matters for when you're putting it right there. So same thing, we're just gonna punch that. Okay, put that right there, and then we do this one. So because when you flip it, it'll be the opposite side that's showing, if that makes sense. So you just wanna put that in however. So you're putting this face up, but this side is actually gonna be the one that shows on the back of your book. Anyway, so then I'm just gonna bind it. And that's when you turn it around to the back, you line it up and you bind that down. Voila. And since there's some extra, I'll probably just cut that off a little bit. I'm gonna give this one more press. Okay, so now is the moment of truth where we flip that and you have your adorable little notebook. So I will kind of show you the difference between the two that I've made. So this one, everything is the same size. So the note cards and the actual book measure 2 by 3. On these ones that I made, I did the cover a little bit bigger so that there was a little bit of overhang. So the cover is, instead of 2 by 3, 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. So that is the only difference. So if you want yours to be like this, I just wanted mine to look flush for this project. I just feel like I like it better. But this is good too. So depending on what you guys want to do, the process is the same, but if you want them to have a little bit of like overhang so that the note cards aren't flush with the side, you would just adjust the measurements to 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. The reason I wanted to do this is because I wanted to be able to get, like, out of one 6 by 6 sheet, I wanted to be able to get all of my covers. So that's why I did it like this. And also I just kind of prefer the way it looks, just all being uniform in one size as opposed to the different size. I mean, they're both fine, but anyway, I think I'm also gonna add a fun little charm. So BRB. Okay, I'm back. I just found this tiny little gold flower charm and I put it on a little lobster clasp really quick. So let's see how that looks. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be on the other side. You know what? I think it would be cuter if I just attached the charm on without the lobster clasp, like, you know, just like that. But I kind of want it to be like, oh, if they want to take it off, they can take it off. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm overanalyzing it. Is it cuter with or without? Should I just attach it? Let me see here. Okay, and then this is what it, hello, focus. This is what it looks like if I just like attach it on there. And then does it still flip okay? Yeah, I guess it does. What do you guys think? Like this with a lobster clasp, or just not at all? I'm thinking maybe just not at all is fine. I thought maybe this was just like a cute way to elevate it, but I don't know if it really worked out the way I wanted it to. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, that was the tutorial. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you do not have the cinch machine, you can still make this project. It will just take longer. You can just use a hole punch. You could use one of these. You could use just like a Dollar Tree regular hole punch. You would just have to go through and individually like hole punch. Like I would think probably maybe even 3 would be good, 3 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, and you would just want to use one paper as your template and then punch all your papers. And then this wire, here is an example of the wire. Oops. You can actually just push it together with your hands. You don't need the cinch machine. So I'll just show you with this. You could use pliers, but yeah, you don't actually need, well, I did it a little wonky because I was looking through the viewfinder, but as you can see, you could do this project without the cinch machine, but the cinch machine is very helpful. So that's what I'll say about that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what sort of theme I should do for these. Like, do you think these will sell well? Like if I do them in themes, like Christmas ones, the more I'm looking at it, the more I think I like that charm. I don't know though. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Bye.